The auditorium lights dim, the crowd erupts in applause, and I'm standing in the back row, half hidden beneath my cap. My brother Luke steps up to the podium in his custom-tailored gown, smiling like he earned it. My name should be printed on that golden sash, but he's wearing it. The screen behind him flashes the words, VLEDICTORAN, LUKEHARDING. My chest tightens, but I don't move, not yet. I just smile, because in exactly 3 minutes, everyone here, my father, my brother, this entire university, will know the truth. Thank you, Dad, Luke says into the mic, for believing in me when no one else did. The crowd laughs, claps, oblivious. And then, the projector behind him flickers once. A folder labeled asterisk, fake scholarship records, HARDING flashes on screen. Gasps ripple through the hall. Luke freezes mid-sentence. My revenge has begun. Flashback 4 years earlier. My name is Godwin Harding asterisk, and until that summer, I actually believed my dad loved us both equally. Our house in suburban Ohio looked like every other one, neat lawn, American flag, golden retriever. But inside, it was a one-man show starring Luke. If Luke won a local debate, Dad threw a barbecue. When I won a statewide science fair, he forgot to show up. I used to tell myself he was just busy. That's what you do when you're the good son. You make excuses for people who never make space for you. But the real wake-up call came the night I opened my acceptance email from Franklin University. I screamed, I laughed, I cried. 4 years of hell finally meant something. Then I walked downstairs, clutching my phone like a trophy. Dad was on the couch, talking to Luke about his basketball tryouts. Dad, I said, I got in, full scholarship. He looked up, smiled once. That's great, son, then turned back to Luke. That was the moment I realized some victories don't count when you're not the favorite. 2 weeks later, I got an email from Franklin University. We regret to inform you that your scholarship offer has been reassigned due to a clerical error. I thought it was a scam. I called admissions. They said the funding went to another Harding. Luke Harding. My stomach dropped. I ran to Dad's office. His phone was on speaker. He was talking to someone from the school board, his old buddy, apparently. Just make sure the scholarship applies to Luke. He's the one with real potential, he said. My throat burned. I stepped into the doorway. You did this. He didn't flinch. You'll find another way, Godwin. You always do. That's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't come with warning signs. It just knocks the wind out of you and waits for you to crawl. The day Luke left for Franklin, the whole neighborhood came out to celebrate. There was a banner, "Congratulations, Luke, our future valedictorian." Mom cried, Dad gave a speech. I stood there, pretending my heart wasn't tearing apart. I enrolled in community college 2 towns over, worked night shifts at a gas station. Every time I saw Luke's photos online, him at frat parties, in honors class, shaking hands with the dean, something inside me twisted tighter. But I never messaged him, never lashed out. I was saving that energy. Because someday, I promised myself, I'd take back everything they stole. 2 years later, my phone rang. It was Luke. Bro, guess what? He laughed. I just got selected for the university's leadership scholarship, Dean's List, baby. I wanted to hang up, but I listened. He bragged about his GPA, his friends, his girlfriend, everything handed to him by Dad's strings. When he hung up, I just stared at the dark screen. That's when the thought hit me. If he can live my life using lies, I'll rebuild mine using truth. I worked my way through community college, earned straight A's, and applied for a transfer. But I didn't tell anyone. When Franklin University emailed me, "Congratulations, Mr. Harding, welcome to the program," I smiled for the first time in years. I was going back, not as the forgotten son, but as a ghost. When I walked onto campus that first day, no one recognized me. Luke had no idea I was there. I watched him pass by at the student center, laughing with friends. He looked right through me. Perfect. For 3 years, I built silently. I studied harder than anyone, tutored athletes, joined research projects. I kept my name off the radar but left a trail of excellence everywhere I went. When professors talked about favoritism and corruption in scholarship programs, I listened carefully. One night, while doing part-time work in the administration office, I found the file. The Harding case. Emails, signatures, timestamps. My father's name appeared in every exchange. He hadn't just stolen a scholarship, he'd rewritten official records. That night I printed everything. I didn't cry, I just smiled. The game had begun. I didn't want revenge through violence or scandal. I wanted exposure. So I built my plan like a final thesis. Every chapter of my pain had to lead somewhere poetic. I befriended the event tech team at Franklin, the guys who handled video presentations for graduation. I volunteered and offered backup tech support. Nobody suspected a thing. When Luke was announced as valedictorian, thanks again to Dad's influence, I was already in the system, waiting. And on that stage at that moment, when Luke said, "Thank you, Dad," I clicked enter. The screen behind him flickered. The truth was finally loading. For months, I walked the same halls as Luke, unseen. He strutted across the quad in his Letterman jacket, always surrounded by people who said Harding like it meant royalty. But I wasn't jealous anymore. I was studying him, who he spoke to, what professors favored him when he logged into his student accounts in the library. You'd be surprised how careless a golden boy can be when he thinks the world bends for him. Sometimes I'd hear my father's voice echo through Luke's calls. "Remember, son, reputation is everything." I'd smile to myself, so is evidence. One winter evening, I attended a campus gala as a student volunteer. Polishing glasses, I overheard a conversation between the dean and a donor, my father's old friend. "Luke Harding's got a bright future," the dean said. His father's influence didn't hurt either. They both laughed. That laugh burned itself into my brain. I poured champagne, eyes lowered, silent, but that night I copied the guest list. Connections, contacts, people who helped my father pull strings. If I wanted justice, I couldn't just expose Luke. I had to show how the system protected him. I started small. Anonymous tips to the campus newspaper about unexplained scholarship reassignments. Screenshots of anonymized emails. A week later, headlines appeared. Favoritism scandal. Students question university fairness. Luke was furious. "People are jealous," he told his friends. "Hard work pays off." Hard work, I almost laughed out loud. Every whisper I seeded was another crack in the Harding image. It happened one night in the library. Luke finally noticed me. He stopped in front of my table, blinking. "Godwin." "Hey," I said calmly. "I didn't know you went here." "Guess we both got lucky," I replied, eyes on my laptop. He shifted uncomfortably. "Look, about the scholarship." I looked up, not here. He hesitated, then walked away, but his hand trembled. That's when I knew guilt was already eating at him. Dr. Rains was the only person who ever saw through my calm. "You've got that look," she said after class one day, "the kind people get when they're fighting a battle no one else sees." I froze. She told me she'd seen favoritism destroy good students before. "If you ever decide to challenge it," she said, "do it with facts, not fury." That line became my mantra. I didn't need rage anymore, I had proof. Opportunity comes disguised as routine. One afternoon, I passed Luke in the computer lab. He left his session open. I hesitated, ethics wrestling with temptation. Then I remembered Dad's voice. "You'll find another way, Godwin." I did. I found the scholarship confirmation email forwarded from my father's account. The message thread included attachments, documents signed under my name. Fake consent forms, forged timestamps. I saved everything. My hands shook, but not from fear, from control. That night in my dorm, I connected the dots. The dean, the donor, my father. All had approved my scholarship's reassignment. But the final approval came from a committee member who retired last year and whose digital signature had been reused. Forgery. This wasn't just favoritism, it was fraud. And I had the receipts. I needed a way to reveal it that couldn't be buried. Something public, irreversible. Graduation. I applied to work the tech booth under the guise of my IT minor. No one blinked. I was invisible again, just how I liked it. Over the next weeks, I created a video presentation, clean, precise, chronological. Emails, names, signatures, even my father's recorded phone call. It wasn't a smear campaign, it was a mirror. And I was ready to hold it up. The night before graduation, I couldn't sleep. Rain tapped the dorm window. I thought about Mom, her quiet sadness every time Luke was praised, and her silence when I was ignored. She once told me, "You don't need to outshine them, Godwin, just don't let them dim you." I didn't realize then she wasn't asking me to forgive, she was asking me to rise. I checked the USB drive one last time. The file was titled Truth at Franklin. Tomorrow wasn't Revenge Day. It was Restoration Day. Graduation day, the air smells like summer and wet grass. Students line up in their gowns, snapping photos. Luke's in front, the golden Harding smile glued in place. I stand behind the tech booth, headset on, pretending to check the mic levels. My fingers hover over the keyboard. One click, that's all it'll take. My father walks in, chest out, hand on Luke's shoulder like he's escorting a prince. For a second, I almost feel sorry for him, almost. Because in 20 minutes, every person in this hall will see exactly who he really is. Luke steps up to the podium, applause booming. I can see the sweat on his neck, even from here. Today, he begins, we celebrate perseverance, family, and... He glances toward my father in the front row, pride shining in both their eyes. My jaw tightens. I whisper to myself, perseverance, let's show them what that really looks like. He says the line that seals his fate. Thanks to my dad, who taught me that honesty and hard work. Click. The projector flickers. For a second, everyone thinks it's a glitch. Then the title flashes, The Real Harding Scholarship Story. Silence. The first clip rolls, my father's voice. Just make sure the scholarship applies to Luke. He's the one with real potential. Gasps, murmurs, heads turn. The next slide, forged documents, side by side with originals. My name on one, Luke's forged signature on the other. The dean's face goes white. Someone in the crowd yells, "Is this real?" Luke turns toward the booth, panic crawling across his face. And I step out from behind the curtain. "Godwin," he whispers, voice cracking through the mic. I walk calmly down the aisle. The crowd parts around me like water. "Yeah," I say, my voice steady. "You didn't think I'd miss my own graduation, did you?" Dad stands up. "Turn that off right now," he shouts. I meet his eyes, the same eyes that once looked through me like I was invisible. "No, Dad," I say. "This time, everyone gets to hear your version of honesty." Security hesitates, unsure whose side to take. I turn to the crowd. They said it was a clerical mistake, that my scholarship didn't exist, but it did, until my father's influence rewrote the rules. You could hear a pin drop. The university board members in the front row are whispering frantically. Cameras are recording. I let the video play. Every email, every favor, every forged signature. Luke's face drains of color. "Dad, say something," he mutters. But Dad can't, his mask has cracked. When the video ends, I take the mic. I didn't come here to humiliate anyone, I say. I came to reclaim what was mine, not the scholarship, not the title, just the truth. Applause begins softly, then grows. Dad looks around, desperate for control he no longer owns. That's when the dean stands and announces, effective immediately, an ethics review will be launched. Mr. Harding, please leave the premises. My father walks out under a storm of cameras. 2 days later, the news breaks. Superintendent resigns amid fraud investigation. Luke's degree is suspended pending review. His internship is revoked. Mom calls me, her voice is soft, trembling. I'm proud of you, Godwin, not for what you exposed, for how you carried yourself. I pause. I didn't want to destroy him. I know, she says, you just stopped letting him destroy you. For the first time in years, I let myself breathe. A week later, the university holds a special assembly to acknowledge academic integrity. Dr. Rains invites me to speak. You've earned it, she says. I walk onto that same stage, but this time there's no bitterness, just quiet strength. My story isn't about revenge, I tell the crowd. It's about knowing your worth, even when those closest to you try to bury it. People stand, applauding. I glance toward the empty seats where my father and brother once sat. Then I look forward. After the ceremony, I step outside into the sunlight. Students laugh and toss their caps into the air. I walk past the old tech booth, the spot where everything changed. There's peace now, not triumph, just stillness. I spot Mom waiting by the gate. She smiles, tears in her eyes. You ready to go? She asks. Yeah, I say, slipping my diploma under my arm. Let's go home. As we walked away, I glanced back one last time at the stage, the place where I finally stood on my own terms. Justice didn't come from destroying them. It came from reclaiming myself. Drop your opinion about my story on the comment section below.